Somewhere, an electric chair is waiting.
I'm Mr. Hardy. This is my friend, Mr. Laurel.
Well, growing up as a young kid watching on TV, my granddad used to watch it, and I just enjoyed watching it with my granddad and fell in love with the boys from early on.
I watched it with my dad from a very early age, so far back I can't remember.
Well, with me, it was the children's matinees when we were kids, Saturday afternoon matinee, because they always used to have Laurel Hardy. That was my first thing about Laurel Hardy, so I grew up with them.
When it was on the television in the 1960s, I was watching Tony in the Hole with my dad, and Stan was ringing chains out, and I just collapsed. Even that age, it was absolutely fantastic watching him, and ever since then, Mr. Laurel and Mr. Hardy.
Well, here's another nice mess you've gotten me into.
Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy, probably the most famous comedy duo ever, very cleverly teamed up by Hal Roach in 1927. Stan Laurel was born Arthur Stanley Jefferson on the 16th of June 1890 in Ulverston, Lancashire, England. Oliver Norval Hardy was born on the 18th of January 1892 in Harlem, Georgia, USA. The two comedy actors were working on their solo comedy careers, but were cast together by accident. Hal Roach saw their comedy potential as a team. Between 1927 and 1952, the famous pair made 107 films together. Laurel and Hardy produced their funniest and most famous films at Hal Roach Studios. They later worked for 20th Century Fox.
Well, we won't go into that.
Stan and Ollie also embarked on a series of tours where they appeared publicly at many venues in the US and the UK.
So now you're over here again, what are you going to do?
Well, we're going to do some personal appearances and also a picture.
What's the picture going to be called?
What's the name of the picture?
Robin Hood, I think.
Their last film, Atoll K, was produced by Franco London Films and is considered to be one of their worst pictures. Both Stan and Ollie were ill during the production of the film, and it does show on screen.
Well, here's another nice mess you've gotten me into.
However, way back in 1933, Laurel and Hardy brought us a film that would have an impact so strong it inspired the love of their work to be celebrated for many years to come. Laurel and Hardy biographer John McCabe came up with the idea for a fan club which would honour the boys' films. The Laurel and Hardy Appreciation Society took its name from one of their most popular films, Sons of the Desert. Stan Laurel himself gave the idea his blessing and helped write the Constitution shortly before his death in 1965.
This oasis must meet the situation with determination.
I joined the Sons of the Desert for the specific reason of setting up a tent in Ireland.
Fans of Laurel and Hardy began to meet publicly in 1965. Local branches or tents were formed in the US, the UK, then eventually more worldwide.
I joined, first of all, I'd actually joined for about 3 years before I went to a meeting, just to read all about it and get some info on. Before I actually went to Laughing Gravy meeting, I'd been a member for 3 years.
The tents take their names from a Laurel and Hardy film title. The Sons of the Desert organisation began to host monthly meetings, conventions and other Laurel and Hardy related events. By the late 1970s, the love of Laurel and Hardy was still going strong and a new generation of fans were born.
I got into Laurel and Hardy in the 1970s when I was a young boy and Laurel and Hardy were on the TV. And I used to watch them coming home from school before the news in the front room, and they made me laugh, they made my brother laugh, and I loved it and it stayed with me.
And they'd be on in the evening time, kind of after Blue Peter time. You'd turn over to BBC Two and they'd be on. And it was must time viewing in our house. We all had to sit down and we all had to watch them.
As this new generation of fans grew up, many of them were inspired to start a tent of their own. Some of them had had the encouragement of the ambassador of Laurel and Hardy, Mr. Bill Cubbin, who also founded the original Laurel and Hardy Museum in Stan's hometown of Ulverston.
And people would come to the museum and they would leave with information on how to start a tent. And he would go down, I'll come down to your first meeting, I'll give you a film show and I'll do this and do that.
A swell guy.
Mr. John Burton, a few people know, put advert in the local paper and said, anybody want to join, make a fan club with Laurel and Hardy? And I rung him up and he says, I've had 6 people turn up or rung me. And when I got to the venue, there were 100 people there.
I found the Ball of Desert site, which I got in touch with Willie McIntyre, and straight away jumped to how to start a tent. And within a couple of months, the tent was started and it led to another extreme level.
The first recollection with the Sons of the Desert was in Chicago in 1978.
The first Laurel and Hardy convention took place in Chicago in 1978.
I was the only one from the United Kingdom, in fact the only one from Europe to attend.
So what do we do at a typical convention?
We're going to ask one person from each table very, very quickly to just say who they are and what tent they're from.
Midnight Patrol, Monterey, California.
Midnight Patrol, Monterey, California. I'm Peter Warren. From Germany. Next.
That's my wife. I'm originally from Birmingham.
There will be singing, dancing, some sort of live entertainment.
Could see that girl was no good for me, but I was lost like a slave that no man could free. Ooh.
Generally there will be a trip out whether this is a coach trip followed by some kind of museum entry or a trip on a steam railway, something vintage which ties in with Laurel and Hardy or the 1930s or 40s.
It's a good way to meet people, to make great friends, a good way to be sociable, and we could share the same passion.
There's fun and games, there's recreations of games that Laurel and Hardy themselves did in their films, such as Pee-wee.
There's you one.
You built him up and he's crap.
Whoa! It's wonderful that we're all here tonight from all parts of the globe because we love the boys, but we love each other, and that's important.
When we meet first, we don't know each other. Within seconds, we're friends for life.
No, it's the people you meet, and it's camaraderie.
I think it's family. You become part of the Laurel and Hardy family.
The Sons of the Desert, this fantastic organisation of fantastic people who just want to have a bit of fun and a bit of a laugh.
Would you ask for anything else? You ask for anything else? Christ, my friend. That's good. That's good.
We can call up people, they can call to us, we can call to them. You can turn up anywhere, and these guys and girls in the Sons of the Desert there's an instant bond. It's a friendship.
Laurel and Hardy conventions have been held for over 40 years now. They have taken place in America, England, Ireland, Scotland and some parts of Europe.
The Sons of the Desert is a great way to meet up with people throughout the whole of the country, or even the whole world, and you can talk about Laurel and Hardy films, just have a good laugh and a joke and be with great people.
The annual Ulverston Carnival is another meeting place for Laurel and Hardy fans.
The boys are marching and dancing to this melody.
We like to meet people once a year, who we see once a year, who we get to know more every year. We like having a drink with those people.
Mountains of Virginia, on the trail of the lonesome pine, in the pale moonshine, our hearts sing blind. When she calls her name and I call mine, oh June, like the mountains are blue.
And also I'm delighted to say that the funds are coming in quite well.
Between 1993 and 2009, the Sons of the Desert spent time raising money to fund a statue of Laurel and Hardy. On Sunday the 19th of April 2009, legendary comedian Ken Dodd performed the unveiling ceremony outside the Coronation Hall in Stan's hometown.
3, 2, 1. Welcome to Ulverston, Laurel and Hardy!
The museum in Ulverston was the first museum dedicated to Laurel and Hardy. In 2002, another Laurel and Hardy museum was established in Ollie's hometown, in Harlem, Georgia. During the International Convention of 2016, both towns, Ulverston and Harlem, were officially twinned. The Sons of the Desert went live from the Coronation Hall and connected live via satellite to the Sons in Harlem.
On this 16th day of July 2016, we are gathered to celebrate the friendship link between Ulverston in England and Harlem in Georgia, the respective birthplaces of Stan and Ollie.
Yes, ma'am. You see, I'm twins.
How remarkable.
The majority of existing tents get together for monthly meetings, where films are shown and tributes to their heroes are paid.
Joining a society that shows the films, you get to regularly laugh at the Laurel Hardy greatness.
Way more than love of the films, it's way more. It's a point where it's so many years on from their films where we have to reassure the country as well as the world that we are still meeting, and we still show that the films, not only the films, but just them two individuals made a huge difference on lives.
It's a good laugh.
And we will now get down to the serious part of the business.
About 5 years ago there was a convention in Manchester, a one-day event, and I went along to that, and I wanted to know, well, why wasn't there a one-day event after that?
In 1993, Chris Coffey, the Grand Sheik of Bacon Grabbers Tent, introduced a new one-day convention, the Laurel and Hardy. The Laurel and Hardys focused on the showing of rare films and talks by Laurel and Hardy film experts.
If you can see the wall right in the right-hand corner, it's a very distinctive wall.
In more recent years, the Laurel and Hardy has turned its hand at revamping old TV game shows and giving them a unique Laurel and Hardy touch.
It's a bullseye!
Here we go. Is it switch on that, Gav? Is it on? Yeah. Thank
you. In 2017, the Laurel and Hardy celebrated 25 years. Comedian Ken Dodd gave an exclusive interview and sent a special message to everyone who attended.
Congratulations to you all, 25 years anniversary, that's marvellous. Congratulations, I'm wishing you all lots and lots more lovely, lovely Laurel and Hardy laughs.
It's an annual event. Definitely. It's an annual.
It's got to be. It has got to be.
It's an annual event.
For many years, impersonators and reenactors have kept the spirit of Stan and Ollie alive.
Because Laurel and Hardy is so easily recognisable to today's audiences, you also find that people dress up as them, whether this is at conventions or sometimes for specific plays. And there's been numerous ones over the years, both good and bad.
Do you know what you've done? What made you do it?
I couldn't help it.
Why not?
My head was at the bone.
It's great, isn't it? It's great that people are still doing that. It's great that people can do that. It's great that they go and do that because they're keeping Laurel and Hardy's memories there. They're keeping Laurel and Hardy in the spotlight.
I think they're great because at the end of the day, they're keeping the thing alive in their own way.
Some are very good and some are quite awful, but in a whole, you know, if you enjoy them, why not?
I've seen quite a few, and there is one or two what are really good, but there is some what's not very good.
Oh, when the saints go marching, oh, well, I want to be in that number. Oh, when the saints go marching, oh, when the
So we can't see the originals now, so sometimes you've got to have an imitation to give you that feeling, so fair play to them.
There's been plays in Germany, plays in the Netherlands. All over the world you'll find Laurel and Hardy funny and people wanting to spread their humour or tell their life story through live shows.
Good afternoon. My name is Oliver Laurel Hardy. And this is my very good friend, Mr. Laurel.
In fact, there's no escaping Laurel and Hardy. They've been used in many advertising campaigns and have appeared as caricatures in various cartoons.
And you'll find that animators and comic book illustrators who find Laurel and Hardy funny will put them in as an in-joke, going back all the way to the early 1930s and all through the Warner Brothers cartoons and right the way up to today with The Simpsons.
Their two faces, the two bowler hats, the tie or the bow tie. It's instant recognition. Everybody knows who they are.
Everybody knows them, you know, even if it's by different names. When their images come up, you know who they are.
Just watch your shoulders, snap your fingers, one and all in the hall. That's a ball, that's all.
In 2019, there was the release of the film Stan Ollie, starring Steve Coogan and John C. Reilly.
And this has sparked much new interest in Laurel and Hardy. Who were they? What are the films like? And this has led to not only existing clubs having a new influx of members, but also new tents being formed, which can only bode well for the future.
It's almost 100 years since Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy made their first film together. The fans have well and truly kept their spirit alive. But what does the future hold? Will Laurel and Hardy still be around for the newer generations?
I hope granddads and fathers and mothers and grandmothers are trying to bring Laurel and Hardy into their grandkids and kids' lives.
We've got an 11-year-old who's a 10-year-old member.
I'm sure if you sat down a 5-6-year-old who'd never seen Laurel and Hardy before, they would find enjoyment in it.
You're right. A little kindness goes a long way.
That was actually funny.
I'm proud to bring the future generations in. I hope it is existing in 70 years, and I hope there is more people my age that are gradually following and bringing Laurel and Hardy into their lives.
At any age, you laugh at Laurel and Hardy.
It's timeless. It's lasted so long for a reason. It's lasted because it's good. It's lasted because it's funny. It's lasted because everybody can get the gags and the jokes. It's lasted because everybody knows who they are.
My Shake is 18-year-old, so I think it's going to carry on for quite a bit.
Their style comedy will never ever go out of fashion.
We're going now. Goodbye. 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 Enjoy yourself. Bye.
Whatever the future may hold, Laurel and Hardy have already brought millions of people a lot of laughter and created thousands of lifelong friendships.
Mr. Hardy's best buddy, that's when he captures our hearts.
He was always helpful and considerate of others, and he had a great sense of humour, but a heart of a very quiet and sensitive person. And that's just the sort of person that I think we all love. So let's have a toast, please, to Babe Laurel Hardy.
We're proud to be Sons of the Desert. We're proud to be friends. We're proud of Stan and Ollie, and we just laugh at the same things.
We are the Sons of the Desert, having the time of our lives, marching along 2,000 strong.
For all sweethearts and wives, God bless them. Tramp, 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 the boys are marching and dancing to this melody. Sons of the desert are we.
But Laurel and Hardy, perhaps the greatest double act ever, ever, ever. Wonderful.